All right, so it's the tail end of Shark Week, so we decided we should do one more shark movie.
Exactly. We started off at the top of our top 5 list with Jaws, and now we're going to go to the bottom of the barrel and just scraping it out, and we're coming up with Sharknado.
Yeah, we're scraping that chum off the bottom.
So today we got a little bit of a structure going on for you guys, a little bit different than our other shows. Like we're adding some stuff like 2 truths and 1 lie. If you've seen it on our shorts already, we're going to dig at the bottom of the review barrel, and see what another person said about Sharknado itself, just because we think it might be funny, and we'll let you know if we think they're correct. We're gonna drop some fun facts like we always do, and just tell you if the movie's worth watching or why we think it's worth it.
Let's just dive right in.
So if you haven't seen Sharknado, we're gonna explain it to you right now, really quick.
In a world where a coastal town is struck by a series of tornadoes that suck up thousands of sharks from the ocean, there's only one hope to save humanity. As the tornadoes hit land, they unleash a terrifying onslaught of shark-infested twisters on the city. Bar owner Finn, played by Ian Ziering, along with his estranged wife April, played by none other than Tara Reid, and a ragtag group of friends must brave the chaos and find a way to survive the deadly Sharknadoes. Armed with chainsaws and improvised weapons, they embark on a mission to rescue their loved ones and protect the remaining survivors. With each passing storm, the stakes rise, leading to a climactic battle against the ultimate Sharknado threat.
If you aren't excited now, based on Sean Marcus's movie actor voice there, I don't know what to tell you, but we want to test your knowledge a little bit if you've seen the movie already, or just as you watch.
Yeah.
We got 2 truths and 1 lie for you. Sean Marcus, take it away.
2 truths and 1 lie about Sharknado. Number 1, the premise of the movie came to the writer Thunder Levine in a dream. Number 2, Ian Ziering, as most people call him, his name is actually pronounced Ian. And number 3, Steve Guttenberg was actually first written in for the role of Finn, but he turned it down, and that's when Ian popped in.
Dang, I don't even know if I know.
Well, we're going to give the answer away at the end of the episode.
So, you wanted to do this movie. This was one that you pushed for on our top 5 list, and I agree, it has to be on there. It's so ridiculous. But I want to know, why did you want this movie so bad?
Well, okay. Because pretty much most shark movies are terrible. Every single, even Jaws has terrible parts and elements of it. Oh. So with shark movies, just ingrain that it's probably going to be bad in some way. And Sharknado does such a good job of just ramping that up and turning it to 11. And just you know what? We're just going to make the worst shark movie ever. And they do such a great job of it.
Yeah, they definitely don't hold back. And there's so much continuity stuff that just doesn't make sense. I guess that'd be the water levels and stuff. The house is getting filled up, but they go out to the car and the street level's fine. But then the water just goes blasts out of the house.
And weren't they on a hill?
They're on a hill.
Why would their house be flooded when there's no water outside? It's barely raining.
And then their attitudes. You should be a lot more scared than they are. They're scared, run into a house or run into a new place, and they're okay, let's have a family conversation here.
Matt's in flight school there.
That's a flight school? I thought he was vacationing in Tampa with his buddies. How come nobody tells me these things? I'm supposed to be included in these conversations.
Meanwhile, you got a storm going on. You got sharks that are super smart for some reason, and then flying through the sky or just swimming through the freeway and just chomping down people.
There were so many things that were completely inconsistent. The size of the sharks. They'd be ankle deep in water and they're getting attacked and mowed down by these sharks that are under the water, but you can't see them. So they must be super tiny sharks or they're massive sharks. Yeah, I know that there's different sized sharks in the ocean, but a little baby shark isn't just going to take you down. But they make no apologies for how bad it is. They're we don't care if it's sunny one minute, cloudy and stormy the next. Yeah.
I think that's what I enjoyed about it is somebody had an idea and they just went with it. We got a tornado, we got sharks, there's going to be a bunch of storms, and people are going to be getting eaten by sharks. They didn't take it serious. Like, you could have had somebody that really had this idea and was like, no, this is going to be a scary, legit movie. No, it just seems like somebody having fun and being like, we wrote a ridiculous story. We just want to just go all out. We don't worry about it at all.
But I wonder if they ever wrote a movie before this, because I feel like they took elements of what makes a movie and just slapped it together. Like that girl Nova, in the beginning, she's got this dark, mysterious secret in her past that she doesn't want to talk about, but I wonder what it could be with those shark scars on her leg that she refuses to talk about.
I can't remember. Was this originally a Sci-Fi Channel movie?
Yeah, original sci-fi TV movie.
Yeah. It feels like it. But I think that's the fun about like Sci-Fi Channel like movies is they're always bad, but they're kind of fun just to like when you're flipping through and you just watch and you're like, okay, this is really ridiculous. And then it just keeps getting more ridiculous on top of it.
Did you happen to look at the budget for this?
I did.
Yeah. What was it?
It was $2 million.
So what did they spend that other $1 million on?
I don't know, man. Obviously not on consistent cameras, because the one thing I did notice is there's so many different quality camera shots. It'll go for, it's like 1080p or 4K or whatever. I don't know what the actual camera names are. And then all of a sudden it's like 720p and it's like 365 or 360 or whatever. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what? It's like between shots too. And anytime the shark's on screen, it's grained out and just.
Yeah. That was my least favorite part of the movie, was the fact that they could not pick a style. Like 300, the movie 300 has that look through the entire movie, no matter what's happening. It's the same look. Like they just couldn't pick one thing and go with it. And that's the one thing that bugged me about this movie. Not the bad CGI.
The thoughts I had on that is either one, they had a bunch of people shooting the thing. So like, you're going to take care of all these scenes and here's a camera.
Or what camera do you have?
Yeah. Or since the shark like CGI isn't great by any means, I feel like they might, anytime a person and the shark's on screen, they grain it up and it looks all washed out to try to match the actors with the bad CG to make it a little bit more believable. Yeah, kind of. It's so noticeable. And then you just straight have shots of like, I don't remember if this is exactly right, but they're on the freeway and the freeway's all flooded and there's all those cars. And then all of a sudden you get these shots of like sharks straight up in the ocean, like underwater, like real sharks that they had like took stock footage of, or they went to the zoo and like filmed it through the glass or something. I don't know. And it would just jump to that and you're like, that's like the ocean.
I thought it was also kind of like funny, the intro to the movie, like, where they're out in the ocean on this boat, like really had nothing to do with the movie. Besides the fact that they were hunting sharks.
That's right. And there was like this whole like shootout that happened. Yeah. I forgot about that. I wrote a note. I was like, why is there a dude in a business suit out on a shark boat making a deal and then tries to like shoot everybody? But
it would have made sense if the reason the sharks were coming on land was to get revenge for being hunted, but they don't tie that in any way. There's just like, here's one storyline. Oh, now we're going into this. We're going on the beach.
Yeah, because it's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I was like, is this business guy like making a deal with these shark people because they're doing like experiments on these sharks and they're going to make them super intelligent or something?
Oh, it's a tie over.
It's way too smart for the plot of the movie.
Yeah. Besides, that was the plot for Deep Blue Sea, right?
Yeah. They're like, we like that movie. We need a little bit more. Yeah, when I first started the movie, though, I thought I was like in the middle of it because it literally just starts off with all these sharks like swimming through the ocean and this tornado in the background. And then it goes to the little boat that you were just talking about.
Well, that was one of the fun things about the movie, was the fact that like they're just explaining the movie from the get-go. The first 10 seconds of the movie, it's like, boom, tornado, sharks in the air, Sharknado.
Yeah, they should just give you exactly what you're expecting from the title. And speaking of that, I pulled a review from the bottom, a 1-star review that somebody gave. I won't give their name, but I'd like to read it.
Okay.
It says, just awful. Worst thing I have ever seen. These movies make me want to pour bleach in my eyes. The acting was awful and the movie was non-realistic. And what even is a Sharknado? Someone please explain. If I could, I would give this 0 stars, but sadly there's not an option. I do not recommend any of these. Please save yourself from watching this movie series.
Okay, Karen.
Man.
Oh, so she watched all of them.
That's what I was just going to say. I was like, wow. Obviously, they watched the entire series and then decided to go back. It's like, if you don't know what a Sharknado is by now and you've watched more than one, I don't think you should be able to give a review because you obviously haven't been paying attention, as we just explained. They show sharks get sucked up in a tornado in the very beginning of the movie.
And I feel like, have they not ever seen a movie like this ever? Because these have been around since what, the 40s, 50s, like the giant tarantulas and like the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. And, you know, it's just campy, bad, horrible movies that are just fun in a way because they're so ridiculous. That's what it is.
I don't think I would have ever picked up a movie called Sharknado and expected it to be realistic. And then go pick up the sequels and expect the acting to be good.
I mean, one of them has a shark in space. I haven't seen that one yet, but I want to.
Oh, do they? Man.
I think it's like the third or fourth one. The movie poster has a shark in space.
Yeah, I was very curious on how they created sequels.
Well, I know the second one was in New York. So basically just let's talk about your fan theory that you said you had.
Oh yeah, so I was sitting there watching it and they're in the bar and there's a guy sitting at the bar and he's just drinking and I was like, man, is that the Home Alone dad? And it totally was. So I think like, you know, he's the same guy from Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's lost his kid multiple times. So it's guaranteed he's getting divorced. You know, Child Protective Services probably took his kid away. So he can't even go see his own kid anymore because he left him at home too many times or in the airport. He's just a terrible parent. And so I think this is just him being washed up, drinking a bunch. He goes all the way over to, where are they at? Santa Monica?
Yeah.
Because even Finn's like, why? You live in Beverly Hills. Why are you coming all the way over here? You know, he's just being a creepy, pervy old man now because he lost everything he had. He's lost
slapping
his job.
the waitresses' butts.
He's groping women and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I watched the movie and I thought something kind of similar. I was like, what if he left his wife because he blamed her for leaving Kevin behind all those times, even though he was just as much to blame. So he's like, I've had it. You can't even raise our kids. And he divorces her, moves to California. Secretly, I'm a deadbeat dad, but I can't admit it. So I'm going to suppress my inner thoughts with alcohol. And that was my thought. Changed his name and everything.
Kevin is like, you know, struggling with all this, grows up and ends up in Party Monster and just ends up in drug life and just destroying his life. So the whole family's just destroyed right now.
And the mom remarries, buys a house that is then haunted by dead people and Beetlejuice.
Dang! See, look, they're all connected. We just pieced a bunch of movies together on the spot, but it's real life. So
that's how we do it. So what made this movie great for you?
Honestly, like going into it, you have to go into it, not like our reviewer here, and just know it's just going to be goofy. So if you go into it thinking like this is just going to be over the top, ridiculous, then you can truly appreciate it as like a form of art. No, but seriously though, it's just a fun movie. You know, you can't take any of it serious. And I think that's a part of it that I enjoyed the most. That idea got shut down probably by so many people, but this guy or whoever was like super determined to make this. Like, no, it's a good idea. And you're like if you came up to me and told me this was a good idea, I'd shut you down for sure. But they were so determined to get this done, and they did it not only once, but like
five, six times. Yeah.
Like why it makes it so watch worthy is because it's just so ridiculous. And you have to go into it expecting it to be that ridiculous.
Yeah, like I said, they make no apologies to how terrible and inconsistent and bad the acting is. And like, it's almost like they're like, let's just act as badly as we can because that will make it better somehow.
So what I wanted to ask too, like towards, we're able to spoil this, right?
Yeah, we can spoil it. Like,
okay.
I mean, the title of the movie spoils it alone. So
yeah. So they got 3 tornadoes going on, and the son is can fly a helicopter apparently with Nova, and they decide that
tapped
like
into the Matrix.
So he's got the stick like this, and it drove me nuts watching them do this all the time, like flying it around. And then they're driving and they're doing this thing. There's that happening. I'm like, okay, you don't need who drives like this unless you got.
Hey,
your
that's
power
how we
steering.
drove our DeLorean, by the way.
Yeah. We did. Man, you just called me out on my own thing. Okay, but you got 3 tornadoes going on. He's got the stick. He's floating around. But they figured out, and I don't know, is there a science to this? If you threw like a bomb into it, would it make that tornado go away? I feel like
you answered it with your own question there. Is there science behind this? Is there any science behind this movie? Besides the fact that fish can be sucked up by a tornado. That is actually true.
Yeah.
I don't know about sharks, maybe.
And then the other question is, how close can you actually get to a tornado before you get pulled in? Do you actually have to touch it? Is it like, I mean, I guess houses get pulled in, but how close are those tornadoes?
I think it kind of depends on how light you are, because it depends on like if the winds are usually around, I don't know, what are they, like 150, 170 miles an hour, I think. So if you can hold on to something at that speed, then you're fine. But
yeah, that helicopter was like right up next to it. Like,
yeah,
I feel like a helicopter probably couldn't fly that close.
And I like that their bombs was a little tiny propane tank like this, and with a flare and like a smoke detector. And they're like, okay, press that for 3 seconds, light it and throw it, and that's gonna dissipate the entire tornado. That little explosion.
Man. Now we're prepped for when the next tornadoes come. Just gonna go rip the smoke detector off. We're set.
But speaking of those bombs, I have a rating system for this movie, and it kind of ties into your rating system from Jaws with how many shots, how many bombs do you got to throw out of a helicopter to stop this movie, the awesomeness that is Sharknado? Because they were able to do it in one, but I don't think you can stop it with just one.
Yeah, they threw one in each. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to take that bomb and we're going to get kind of close to it, and it's going to be all shaky, and I'm going to chuck it, but it's just going to hit inside the helicopter and just blow us up. I'm going with a 1 bomb. Didn't even make it out of the helicopter. It just blew up the whole thing.
All right, well, I'm in another helicopter.
Yeah, you just watched that happen in the distance.
Oh no! I blew up. I better go over to that helicopter, and I'm gonna throw 3 bombs at it.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. I saved the world.
Yeah.
So that was Sharknado. That's the way we're wrapping up Shark Week this year, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And see you guys next time.
Peace.
And the lie in the 2 Truths, 1 Lie was the premise of the movie came to Thunder Levine in a dream. I just made that up.